Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another Kickstarter critique where I take a look at a different Kickstarter tabletop game project every weekday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give my honest thoughts on how the project is being ran. And before we get into the show, I do want to let you know that I have been experiencing microphone difficulties over like the last week or two. I might just need to get a new microphone. I'm not quite sure. Let me know how it sounds right now. I tried tweaking with the settings, bumping with the audio quality, doing a bunch of stuff like that, but I'll be honest with you, it's all Greek to me. So any advice, much appreciated. But today, I am very excited to be checking out the most popular project in all of games on Kickstarter, and the most popular project, period, on all of Kickstarter. That is Tiny Epic Cthulhu, a cooperative game of spinning madness for 1 to 4 players. Spinning madness. I think that's supposed to refer to the fact there's a spinner, because I know there were quite a few people who were upset about the fact there was a spinner in the game. I never get that complaint unless you're worried about it just wearing out, because the dice, I mean, what's the difference between flicking a spinner and rolling a dice? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, I love the fact that we're putting the player length, the time count, the age, and the dice logo. I just don't like the placement of it because you're a project we love, and unfortunately it covers up that valuable piece of information right down here. So I'd make that a little bit bigger because, A, it's really hard to read anyway right here, and I would move it somewhere else aside from where that Projects We Love banner is. Other than that, I see custom dice, big whoop, don't care. It's Tiny Epic, which I'm pretty sure they're thinking it's just going to move the needle and it's going to move units because there's tons of Tiny Epic games. I'd still love to know a little bit more on here. I do like the fact they mentioned 1 to 4 players. I do love the fact they're spotlighting the dice tutorial app. But, you know, look, it's Cthulhu. We get it. Like, no one's excited for your Cthulhu theme. Just period. It's like, okay, another Cthulhu game. I'd love to see a little bit more here. Maybe really show me that spinner, you know, because spinners, you don't see them too often. As always, when you go in the video, I'm thinking 3 things. Do I want it? Can you do it? How much is it? Let's go.
Tiny.
And I mentioned this about the Stronghold Games booth, about how I had a negative connotation about them because of their very boring game booth at conventions. Gamelin Games, the exact opposite. They had, last time I saw them at Gen Con, they had a castle set up. They didn't have a huge booth either, but they literally turned it into like this medieval castle bar thing with a fireplace, and it was fantastic. I think I did a YouTube short on it, but highly recommend checking out their booth from last year. Very cool booth.
Epic Cthulhu is an immersive and thrilling game that will take players on a captivating journey through the chilling lore and horror of Lovecraft. This game, designed for 1 to 4 players, offers an enthralling cooperative experience that can be enjoyed in an hour or less. In Tiny Epic Cthulhu, players...
Okay, so I feel like we definitely wasted the first 20 seconds there on a bunch of crap we didn't really need that could have been useful stuff, but now we get into these components, and I would 100% rather see this than just a generic picture of Cthulhu squeezing me to death. You know how many games I've seen Cthulhu squeeze me to death? Then it's like I don't have enough fingers to count it. I gotta go on toes, and even then I probably don't have enough. But a spinner that looks so weird, now we're talking.
Embark on a crucial mission to save the town of New Arkhamoore from plunging into madness. This thrilling game requires strategic thinking.
That is some really good table presence, especially considering how small this box is, because I'm assuming they're using their standard size box. It's kind of what they're known for. And I feel like that's part of the reason why we got such a boring main image, is because they know that they put Tiny Epic blank and they're going to get, $100,000, $200,000, period. I would spotlight this as opposed to just a generic Cthulhu artwork, though.
Clever utilization of asymmetrical abilities and the harnessing of the powers found in different town locations. The gameplay centers on the utilization of the versatile Madness Spinner, which introduces an element of chaos and disseminates madness across the town.
Okay, I kind of like how they spun that. They knew a lot of people were going to be anti-spinner, which once again, that's not me, but I know a lot of people are anti-spinner. And they're saying, it's good because it's adding madness to the town, so it's supposed to be random and crazy, So I kind of like how they kind of shoehorn that in there.
This spinner controls the movements of horrific shamblers.
Showcasing the nice wooden components here with the screen printed on them. Very nice.
Polychromatic madness tentacles, the Great Old One, and more. The pointer on the spinner... And
they already let me know the price. Once again, as much as I dislike the main image for, having generic Cthulhu and the marquee for not being that great, the bottom line is $25. That's all I need to be convinced of. And this, I'm willing to take a $25 flyer on this game after what I've already seen. Not to mention the fact that I'm sure they're going to spotlight the pedigree of the designer, hopefully, in here. Put some damn respect on Scott Holmes' names, because he's got a pretty impressive list of games where you're like, all right, most likely this is not going to be Garbo.
Indicates one of 10 possible effects, along with the corresponding location that will be impacted by the madness tentacles. On the opposite side of the spinner lies the tentacle, which not only determines the specific type of shambler that will inhabit the town card, but also influences the movement of the Great Old One. Players are tasked with skillfully managing their emotions of fear, rage, greed, and chaos on their individual player boards, while avoiding the peril of succumbing to madness by recklessly pushing the boundaries of their own emotional limits. In order to seal the Necronomicon and prepare for the ultimate confrontation with the Great Old One, players must collaborate to translate ancient pages, banish many...
$5 says there's a bunch of other old ones that you'll fight, and each one's going to make it a slightly different and asymmetrical game. I'm just predicting that based on every other Cthulhu game that I've seen on the planet, pretty much.
...and shamblers, and...
Man, those are really nice screen printed wood. Like, I know everybody's, miniatures, but I'll take these. Every day of the week. Those are really nice looking.
Collect powerful runes. In the end, players will rely on these sacred runes to seal away the horrors of the Great Old Ones, ensuring the eternal protection of humanity from its malevolent influence. The thematic gameplay and Lovecraftian lore of tiny...
painted, that's cool.
Epic Cthulhu will transport players into...
One spinner instead of multiple dice. Yeah. I don't have an issue with that.
a realm of...
I honestly, that's one of those complaints, because as long as I've been in the hobby, people have really poo-pooed spinners, and it's like, I don't see that big of a difference between the spinner and the die. I don't. Like, you're cool with this random, but not that random. Maybe it's because it's just easier, you can roll 4 dice at the same time instead of spinning 4 times. I could see that argument, but the way they do this, where it's a dual-use spinner, you're looking at one side and the other side, I don't have a problem with it.
Of unfathomable...
Bring on our new spinner overlord. Yogi gets it.
Mobile chaos and spine-chilling horror. This captivating game offers variable levels of difficulty, a diverse cast of characters.
I gotta say, this video, it's just so... I think it's just the narrator is just killing the excitement for it. It's just, he's like anti-exciting.
And a selection of...
And maybe that's what they're going for. They're not going for excitement. They're going for like the horror... Like, I don't know. It's just the narrator just isn't doing it for me.
Great Old Ones that draw inspiration.
And it doesn't help that some of this stuff, it feels like it's dragging at this point a little bit.
From the twisted mind of H.P. Lovecraft himself. Each playthrough promises a unique and enthralling experience, malevolent influence. The thematic gameplay and Lovecraftian lore of tiny Epic Cthulhu will transport players into a realm of unfathomable chaos and spine-chilling horror. This captivating game offers variable levels of difficulty, a diverse cast of characters, and a selection of Great Old Ones that draw inspiration.
Nailed it. Call that. The narrator makes it sound like there's going to be a test. Yeah, it just isn't. It doesn't feel like great narration. Like, it doesn't feel. Let me rephrase that. It doesn't feel like gripping narration, which it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't sound bad. It's just It's not doing you any favors, I don't feel like.
From the twisted mind of H.P. Lovecraft himself. Each playthrough promises a unique and enthralling experience that will leave players spellbound. Make sure to include the Cult of Chaos expansion, where players engage in a thrilling battle against the enigmatic cultists.
Yes, I would agree, Yogi. That is so rote, and yes, I did know what rote meant. Don't question me.
Objective is to triumph over their malevolent rituals, unleashing the Great Old One and thwarting their wicked scheme to annihilate the world. Unleash your power to vanquish the realm of chaos.
Okay, there it is. And I feel like I honestly feel like we cut out the first 20 seconds. We cut out the last 30 seconds. We get this thing down to a nice tight 210. Because this is what you want me to buy. Let's be quite frank. This is the pledge that you're hoping most people are going to bank on. $25 is a fine price for this, but I imagine it's going to be $45 or something for this. And that's what you want most people to buy. So I feel like making me wait this long through what is an otherwise not
by pledging your
gripping video with a not gripping main image, too. Like, and here's the bottom line. I would much rather, at least if they showed both these boxes on the main image than just him gripping my hand. What? I didn't click on Spotify. Get the hell out of here. All right, so after the video, do I want it? Yeah, I kind of do. I'm sucker. Long video for no game mechanisms. Well, they kind of did. You know, you can spin the spinner. Man, this is going to go here. But yeah, that video, I just didn't think it was it. 28 created, 255 back. Gameland Games is a renowned board game company headquartered in Arizona. We make immense pride in being the creators of the highly acclaimed Tiny Epic series, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Didn't I just covered their game? They have a game found and a Kickstarter right now? You cheeky minx! I'm pretty sure they're running. Oh, Von Miller's my boy. Tell me that's going well. Heroes of Land Air. Yeah, look at that. What, are you going to put out a backer kit project too? I'm just kidding. Nobody does that. But it's okay. They got one on each. Good for them. And I do like the fact that they're utilizing it like this. They have... Yeah, okay. So we got... Ooh, jalop. So we got 3 people in here who should be helping with the customer service, potentially 4, so we should have good customer service. Now, 28 created. Once again, this is why I'm not particularly worried about the can you do it aspect of it. This is a long-running series. Tiny Epic Vikings, Tiny Epic Dungeons, Tiny Epic Pirates, Tiny Epic Dinosaurs, Tiny Epic Galaxies, Ultra Tiny, Tiny Epic... blah, 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 blah. You know, and that's what I'm saying. They did it last time, too. But this one actually... Yeah, okay. Whatevs. This one, I believe, is not out... Man, that just screams, I'm going to see this at Ollie's in 3 months. 3 months after it comes out. And I hate to say that, but like that's just any time I see an intellectual property board game, I'm like, ooh, I'll see you at Ollie's soon. Important 411 update. This update contains information on how to redeem missing rewards, so in August. So yeah, that one's out. This one's probably going to be out then, I would presume. Plus U.S. backer reshipment. So yeah, getting the people helped out that didn't get help in the first place. Let's check out the comments. But can you do it? I'm not particularly worried about it. I feel like they have a pretty good track record. What's going on with shipping? I've not received my order yet. 5 days ago, 5 days ago, 12 days ago. Please use update 16 for directions on how to contact. So they got in here. They finally answered some questions. I wonder if I brought that up in my when I covered Land, Air, the Sea. Everyone has a Tiny Epic game. That's what we need. Tiny Epic Twister. Why not? Like, let's be like quite frank here. I feel like if Twister was smart, we could put that thing in a tiny tuck box. Hell, you could probably fit that into a mint tin if you got creative with the folding. Actually, that'd be a bit much. Mint tin's a bit much. Okay, so can you do it? Yes. Do I want it? I kind of do. The spinner's got me going. It looks interesting. Hopefully you spotlight Scott Alm's pedigree here. We got generic pictures of Cthulhu crap. Okay, cool. Don't care. 1 to 4 players, 30 to 45 minutes, ages 14 plus, 3 levels of play. Innovative spinner. Co-op bag building. I do love bag building, and I saw the bag. Look, Richard's mind is being blown as we speak. All right. I'm really excited about the spinner because it's completely reinvented what a spinner is. What's interesting is the front only has 10 different things it can point to. The back can point to 15 different things. So this is a really cool idea. Ooh. Well, thank you, Richard / Gameland Games, for putting something that you probably should have put in the video. Why I should be, a little bit more into the spinner. So I feel like that's a great quote. I feel like this is a spectacular quote to lead with. Once again, I don't put this on Richard. Richard's fantastic. I love Richard. I sit down and talk to Richard about politics and life hours and hours and hours. I love Richard. But Gameland Games is the one who pinpointed exactly which parts of this quote to put in here, and you can tell because of all those little dots, and I think they did a great job here. They were like, all right, we need to spotlight the spinner. We need to convince people about the spinner. There's going to be a lot of anti-spinner sentiment, and they're like, Richard could put the fire down on the spinner, and they chose a great quote for that. I would almost go 3rd point grade bump up, but that still sounds weird to me. I'm not used to it yet. What's a 3rd point grade bump up? What's the difference between a half point? You've talked me into it. The chat has talked me into it. They've told me the half point grade bump up doesn't work when you have an A minus A plus A system when it's 3 letters. So I should be doing a 3rd, but man, 3rds are hard. Halves are easy. 3 modes of play. I got it. Wheel of Madness. I got it. Dice. Oh, is that it? Okay. So it's not a how to play. It's a online spinner that will have a mini expansion. I don't think people are gonna like that. I like it. I'm fine with it, but I'm guessing that there's gonna be a good deal of people who complain about that. Cthulhu dice. We got custom printed dice. Okay, and then got it. What's in the box? $25. It's not too much to convince me. 6 hero player mats. 4 great old one mats, which once again means we're going to have 4 different ways to play the game right from the bunch, 5 town mats, and 6 hero player mats, and those are all asymmetrical as well. 30 page cards, discard mat, the unique spinner, fancy dice, drawstring bag. All this, pretty much all deluxe and fried right from the jump. We're not playing the stretch goal game here. It's like, hey, you got $25, you're going to get this high quality, top notch game. And once again, they're in a position they can offer that kind of price. If you were going to go do this, it might be a lot harder to do if you got all these deluxeified components, because you might be looking at a 500, 1,000, 1,500 print run, whereas I imagine they're looking at a much higher print run right from the jump, because they have a good track record. So good for them. Wow, $5? That $5 for that box? Oh my gosh, that's how you sell me an expansion. $30, I'm in. Okay, who's thinking twice about that? Extra things, extra tokens, extra cards. Oh, this is the box. So this is the box you showed me. This is a different box of stuff. Okay, when you pledge for a deluxe copy, you will receive the base game plus the deluxe astral artifacts components showed above. Okay, so I'm looking at $40 for this. The games are good. The Kickstarter page is a B. Game is probably an A, and always end up in retail. They are obviously up against the retail. But with their price, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. $40, so $20 gets you both games. All these nice woodens. We haven't got to the shipping yet. We'll get to it. It's down here. Bam. So it looks solid. The tiny Epic Cthulhu balances tension-filled pressure luck mechanisms with multi-layered strategic decision points that are all interconnected through cascading consequences. Settle down, Dan! You sound a little hoity-toity there, but that was a solid quote. I got blasted for calling a quote hoity-toity a couple weeks ago, and I was wrong. And I do want to specify that. And I came back out and said, you know what? That was just me being dumb. But yeah, so I feel like the quote game is solid. All right. Skip the rule booklet. So it isn't just an extra spinner. Wait, why would you do... See, I was excited when I saw it diced, and then I was less excited when I saw it was just a stinking spinner, and now I'm back to more excited when I click on here. So I would mention that in addition to just being a spinner that whatevers, it also is going to be a... oh, look at that. That's how you use the back. Oh, my God. Just pause. This is why I criticize companies for not using the back of their rule booklet. Gamelin Games gets it. They are making all the other companies look bad. Look at this. All the iconography, quick reference, player actions taking you straight to the page. This is what I want on the table when I'm trying to learn this game. I don't need your stupid art or like, oh, thanks to play testers. That's great. Shove it in the rule booklet where people can ignore it. Don't shove it on the back where people can ignore it. Put useful stuff on the back. So kudos to them. That's a great rule booklet right there. Skip the rule booklet. Once again, now you're saying that. You weren't earlier. You were telling me earlier there's a freaking extra spinner I don't give a crud about most of the time. Alright, one move, so we're talking about gameplay. Just show me a video. Prototype thoughts straight from the RV. So jealous. It's going to be me one day. That's me and my wife's. That's our pipe dream, is to drive across the country and cover board games. Tiny Epic Cthulhu. Preview don't care. Preview don't care. Preview don't care. Preview don't care. There it is. Gameplay. The rest of those whatevs. They're all worth the same. Pretty much. Varying different. You know, obviously Richards is. You know, you look at the subscribers, but for the most part, previews are all worth the same. In my opinion, it's just. Gameplay. You gotta have that gameplay. They have one. So base game $25. The deluxe game $30. Okay. What was the? Oh, that was the. That's weird. Okay, so should an established company do Kickstarter exclusives? I don't have an issue with it. I honestly, I think yes, they should. I think that 100% they should, because I always mention this. You look at a company like what is it, Stronghold Games / Indie Board and Cards. They're rubbing together now. They're all owned by the same person. And when you see something for like Terraforming Mars, you know for a fact that's coming to retail, right? You know that. And so they're up against the retail gun, as I call it. They have to put out something that's going to convince people to pay for it now instead of paying for it later when they might even find it for cheaper. You know? And so I definitely do think it is a good idea. Those Kickstarter exclusives. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like those, But I think looking at it strictly from the perspective of the company, which is a lot of the time what I try and do here, like how I feel like they're doing, I think it's essential. With Tiny Epic, I don't know if it is as much, just because people are like, oh, new Tiny Epic, I'm going to buy it, because more times than not, I know I'm going to like it. All right, so $40 all in, great price. I feel like we definitely wasted our time getting here. I feel like this should be leading things, but whatevs. 2mm thick box rivals the toughest in the industry. As someone who works for a board game company, can't agree. 2mm thick boxes. That's nice. That's a sturdy box. Premium quality components. 310 GSM ivory core page cards with an elegant linen finish. Hero time. We start from 350 AAA straight from the jump. I'm not throwing shade or anything. It's just, would you like to have those 40 extra GSMs? And I will say, I actually just got a big box of a bunch of the games that my company makes, and I was like, oh god, these are nice games. I'm really glad. I was worried they were going to be like crap components, and I just would never bring it up. Please be aware that reward tier price does not include shipping and VAT charges. Got it. What's the shipping? Ooh, it's a big old graph. Great. Everybody's covered. Estonia, we gotcha. Liechtenstein, gotcha. Beautiful. So $11 copy plus expansion, $13. I'm looking at $53. Very reasonable. You get the 2-pack for $16. I'm excited to see how this is going to do, because I imagine a lot of people. I don't typically feel like 2-packs do well, but I feel like this type of game, they should. That's a really cool graphic for a print and play right there. That's one of the best graphics for a print and play I think I've ever seen, honestly. And it's so simple, it's so clean, it's so clear. You know what? There's been so many things that I've thought they've done well where I was like, almost giving them a 3rd point grade bump up. I'm just going to lump them all together here. Let's say a 3rd point grade bump up. For the quotes, for this, I feel like they're all very solid. Does not include this, that, the other thing, which is why it only is $58. Nobody wants this. We got the $30. Once again, not even a 500 print run, because everybody is in on this one because you sold it well. And this is what I'm talking about here. I say 9, 10 to 1 is what you're shooting for. Look at this. Look at how much this is to 1. You add this together, 300 to 5,926. That is almost 20 to 1 going for the most popular pledge level. And we got 210 in here. Good for them. That's a big number for the twofer. I thought it might be decent. All right, the honorary producer received the advanced copy, 10. Cool. So you need to get an estimate on print run from how many people back it to even make 90% of games make sense when they do have sense, when they do not have some IP or name recognition behind them. So you need to get an estimate on print run from how many people back it to even make 90% of the game make sense. In theory, for bigger companies, for if you get lucky on Kickstarter, but I feel like for most people, what we do when I send out a quote to someone, unless they specifically ask for a number, is our system gives you 500, 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000. And that's where most people are going to end up making that many copies of games. 500 is the bare minimum. And then what I like to do is I always put in 750. I think it's a nice sweet spot where it's like, 250 extra games for like 1,000, 2,000 extra more. I think I can sell those after the fact. I think 750 is a nice sweet spot too. But I get what you're saying. It's hard to thread the needle. How many people are going to back your game? And once again, we're talking about it being hard. And this is why I have zero problems with the biggest companies going and running Kickstarters, is because it's really hard to figure out how many games that you're going to need to make. Like, and at least with Kickstarter, like the worst case scenario is, we got the wrong quote. We need a different quote because of this jalop. Get out of here with that garboo. Okay, so let's get the FAQ updates, comments. Give this one a grade. Unorganized FAQ. Here at 14, I would organize this like Reload from Colossal Games, or just poke Kickstarter. We get enough people poking Kickstarter and saying, hey, can you steal these great features from GameFound that allows you to solo it? Search it. But yeah, I would organize this a little bit more because my question's question 13. I got to search through 13 questions. It's kind of annoying. This just launched yesterday. Funny in 7 minutes. Thank you. Don't care. So this is going to be a very unengaging one. Yeah, this is literally just crap you stole from the. That's just stuff from the story. I already read that. Like, why would you put that there? Project updates. Due to the absence of stretch goals, this project will have a reduced number of updates during its live phase. However, the updates that will be shared will focus on exciting gameplay content, such as the Astral Artifacts Deluxe Mini Expansion, the Cult of Chaos Expansion, and our intentions with solo play. Cool. Lastly, enjoy this day one avatar. Is this similar to the Sovereign Skies? Why such an odd size for the page cards? Can't fit sleeves to find them. The location cards are uniquely sized to give the board its circular presentation. And because it's kind of have the spinner. I'm going to guess. Either way, they're in there, they're responding, they're doing great customer service. Cool. And in the choice not to have stretch goals, like, I don't have an issue with it. I typically like them, but with this, they're too small boxes. There's only a certain amount of things that you're going to be able to fit into these boxes. They already feel like they're packed to the brim as it is. As someone who owns, I believe, 2 of these games, a lot of times you get the squishy box syndrome where it's like, everything doesn't quite fit in there just unless you put it in there a little perfect. And then B, everything feels deluxified. Like, everything already feels like they just made it deluxified. Is there does the spinner end look the same? I find it hard to tell the difference. Will be it did at first glance. Once again, I feel like that could have been better emphasized in the video as opposed to just Richard's quote, even though Richard's quote, great saving grace there. Somewhat unrelated question, are there plans for the future ultra tiny epic games? Yes, the smaller the better. I picked up Galaxies at Gen Con and immediately hooked up one of the friends. What tiny epic games would you like to see under the shrink ray and become ultra tiny epic? Scott gets it. This is, so you know what? If you're going to do fewer updates, make sure you end them with a question. Say, hey, we were going through the comments. Look at this. Collaborator, creator, collaborator. This is muy bueno. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. Love the customer service here. I'm going to do another 3rd point grade bump up. All right, I'm talked into it. I like the 3rd grade system. All right, so we're up to 2/3, but this is great customer service here, and I would ask that in the next update, honestly. And I would make sure you reference that question in the update as well. Like, and here's how you can phrase it. You know, we've had people asking us for more ultra tiny epic, and what specific games of our category would you be interested in? We're not planning on it, but just in theory, let us know. Would you be willing to, spend $52 or whatever to get the one that comes with this? It's, something like that. I would totally put that question out there because A, it shows that you're listening to the people in the comments, which makes you look good. B, it's going to get people commenting and engaging with this, which once again, you're looking for more reasons for people to come and stay and turn this into a living, breathing campaign, especially without stretch goals or unlocks. And there is no C. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. So, final grade for Tiny Epic Cthulhu. Man, I really hate that main image. It's just so blah. Do I want it? Yes, I do. I'm grandfathered in. I've played 3 or 4 Tiny Epic games, and I've enjoyed all of them to certain extents. I like Scott Holmes as a designer, even though, there's a 3rd point grade bump down here. I feel like they did a really, really, really terrible, atrocious job of, once again, putting some damn respect on Scott Holmes' name. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to do their work for him. 328, 673, 834, 883, 960, 980. 6 of the top 1,000 games of all time. We're talking super rarefied air here of game designers. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Is that right? Is that 16 games in the top 2,500? Scott Holmes, designer of 16 of the top 2,500 games on Board Game Geeks. Boom. There. Done. It's easy. It's simple. You want to spotlight some of these. You want to spotlight the track record of some of these. I definitely feel like that would have been something to do here. Because, look at this. Look at these numbers. These numbers are so insanely stinking good. I feel like that's a full 1/3 of a grade bump down for not mentioning that. So, final grade for this one. Do I want it? Yes, I do. Can you do it? Yes, I'm not concerned. It looks like you're doing great customer service. Then how much is it? I feel like the price is right. You told me the price early. You showed me deluxified components. I personally am a big proponent of the spinner. And then you have Richard front and center telling me why the spinner is interesting. Video's a bit of a letdown. Some major things here and there, but overall, I really feel like this was a rock-solid project. I wonder if, given a game in final state, could they gamify the updates? Ooh, that would be fun. The only negative thing about the campaign is that I feel that the Cthulhu theme is already very saturated in board game space. 100% agree, which I mentioned in the video. We don't need 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds of, waxing on Cthulhu. You don't have a special or unique theme. Focus on what you do have. But yeah, I'm going to go with a B+, I think, on this one. Overall, rock-solid project. You talked me into an A-2. I think we're an A- if that narrator was just, I feel like it's right there on that line. But let me know in the comments below, what's your final grade for Tiny Epic Cthulhu? And as all, plus, just not spotlighting Scott Holmes' name. Because here's the thing. it's not just that he's a good designer. If you're a good designer, I say, yeah, you should spotlight your name and what you've done and your pedigree just to put out the fact that you've put out other games. But he's a great designer. He is cream of the crop. Those numbers, 16 in the top 2,500. That's absurd. That's absurd. Like that's nearly 1% of all the board games designed ever, the top 2,500. And because they show this, what is this? Well, it's a bunch of games. Whoop-de-doo. How highly are they rated? So yeah, I'm going to B+ on that one. Let me know in the comments below. It's your final grade. As always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Also, quick shout out, no show tomorrow because my son is getting braces. And also let me know how the audio was. Do I need to get a new microphone? I was trying to tweak with the settings. Hopefully that helped out. Bye-bye.